So,
Guys, we are back. We are
back,
so
baby. Back, baby.
Yes. How are we doing, my friend? Good
I
to
am
see your face
blessed,
again.
brother. I am blessed. It's so good to see you. Doing a podcast like solo is good because I get to interview guests, but I've missed doing it with you, man. I've missed doing this with you. I'm
Yeah,
so
me
glad
too,
that we're
man.
back. So glad because
Yeah.
there's so many, bro. There's so much to talk about. Particularly if you live in the UK, there is just so much BS to talk about. But also
Yeah,
all the things
yeah.
that we've been doing since what?
No,
Year? Has it been
I
a
think
year?
I
No.
think talk about that first because it's been a good 6 months since we last shot our last one, and we had our amazing guest speaker on, Andy.
Yeah.
What a podcast that was! And
That was amazing.
yeah, like we've had a fair few downloads. We've had hundreds of downloads on that one. So I'm very, very grateful to all you amazing people that have just spent the time, listening to it and watching it on YouTube. And that's what really drives us to do these podcasts, is hearing your feedback and just randomly getting stopped or messaged online. Because this was just like an idea, that was 2 years ago now.
2 years ago,
we're coming up to, which is wild because we failed the first attempt of the recording, didn't we? Of mine, and then we had to shoot it in the new year. But then we didn't know how it was going to go or how it was going to flow. But we've had some amazing guest speakers, from Daniel to Andy. We've had Jeff. We've had so many amazing people on.
We have. But I also
Niall,
I also love this though. Like just me and you just catching up and chatting and just passing on some value and some knowledge and some education. Like I love the blend. I love the blend that we can have a guest, but we can also just have me and you sitting here chatting breeze, which I love.
It's been a hot minute. We've both been doing separate things, which is so important in the journey of life. And I really want to ask, like, I know what you've been doing, but I think definitely a cheeky plug for what you've been doing behind the scenes.
Thank you.
And also personally.
Yeah, bro, yours is just a huge announcement to tell the whole world. So, for all you ladies out there that were like always tuning in for Joe, you lucked out. Not really. His missus.
We're a married man.
He's a married man now.
We're married. I'm married now. Yeah, married. Just flinging it there.
So you'll notice that his hand gestures will always be just that hand now. His right hand won't exist. It's just his left hand, just to say.
Yeah.
And it was I
just got to itch my eye, Mark. 1 second.
Yeah. And it was a beautiful, beautiful wedding. He lovingly invited me. I initially said no because I was like, no, I don't want to go. No, I'm joking. I jumped at the chance, and it was such a beautiful, beautiful day. He looked dapper. His missus looked stunning, and the venue was incredible. The food, obviously, because it was Joe, I knew what the food quality was going to be like. We're not getting anything less than grass-fed, grass-finished anything, which was incredible. And yeah, dude, just meeting your friends, meeting your family, it was just such an amazing experience. And that was just from my part. So I think let's kick that off. Let's just talk about that, because obviously there was the engagement. When you were away, which was a beautiful sunset and everything, which you timed perfectly. And then there was obviously the build up and the wedding and what you've been doing in between then, because you've had I'm telling everybody your life now. I'm going to shut up.
No, thank you, mate. It was so good to have you there, and I can't believe it's sort of been almost a month, 3 weeks since that date now, which is crazy.
3 weeks.
Time flies, but
is it 3 weeks? Is it 3 weeks tomorrow or 4 weeks tomorrow?
Yeah, 3 weeks tomorrow.
That's gone quick.
What's mad is I proposed on when we shot up the podcast with Daniel. I think the original podcast with Dan.
It was.
What, like, that just sounds just crazy where time has gone. That was a good podcast, by the way, you guys. You got to check that out, about circadian rhythms and sunlight exposure. Like, we'll definitely get Dan on again. He's a big shout out to him.
And I went traveling with him after that as well, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, there's so much has happened, man. And it.
Crazy.
Yeah, where do we begin? But yeah, the proposal, Christ, for those who are interested, I sort of planned it over a year, and we go every year to Cornwall in the UK, to this destination called Poles F. It's very close to us. We've sort of been there every year for the last decade. Close family introduced it to me. They've been sort of going there for many, many years and had very happy memories. So, it's very close to our heart. So I thought what would be really nice was to, kind of go full circle here and propose on the beach, but also use a local business, a local jeweler that is, makes jewelry, handmade, crafts it in St. Ives, so not a million miles away in Cornwall. And we both sort of chose the design together. So it was sort of like proposal, then we designed it, then we went back, and then then here we are a year on, and we've sort of planned the wedding in an amazing sort of venue in Royston, South Farm. Mark was there. Very grateful to you for coming, and
My pleasure,
for those who know me, food is my life, and sourcing real food. So what was lovely about the venue that we went to was it's all kind of a bit regenerative. They sort of reuse everything. They grow their own food, they grow their own vegetables, and they have a seasonal menu, which was kind of like the highlight of it, and bringing everyone together, and seeing everyone there, and still getting stopped by family and friends saying that food was amazing. Like that was like the best wedding I've ever been to. The food was nuts. I was like, well, we chose through over 40 different options, so I'm glad you enjoyed it as much as we decided, chose it, because we were served everything before the beginning of this year. So we got to choose the sort of the starters, the mains, everything. But hats off to Chloe, my darling wife. She organised most of it. I just said yes and no, Mark, to a few things.
Just tell me where to start and what suit I'm wearing. I'm good.
Yeah, that's right. Credit to her. It's very stressful. Those who are listening, who've have the pleasure of being married, or pleasure of having a wedding and planning that, will know just how stressful it is. Everyone sees the day, the sort of running of it, the sort of the niceties, everyone dressed up, the sort of the flow of it, the band, whatever. But people don't see the sort of the behind the scenes of the stress that went under that. But, I don't want to steal the whole podcast talk about my bloody wedding, but it was a very
it's a big day, dude. It's a big day, and if people don't want to tune in, just remember where it started. He talks for about 5 minutes. Fast forward. There you go. Job done.
Yeah.
We'll just put like the cliff notes in there, like the times. We'll just put timestamps in the thing. And if you don't want to listen to all of it, you can fast forward. But it's important.
Yeah, you can do that. You can do that. So we're now planning the honeymoon, man. So we had like a mini moon in the Forest of Dean. Nice little log cabin, sauna. No hardly any signal, which was lovely. So a bit of a detox from that. Being close to nature is right up our street, as you know. And we're now planning the honeymoon. So amazing. Very man. But good enough times. About me. Like, we're going to play a bit of table tennis here. All right. Like backwards and forwards of what we've been up to. But tell everyone, Mark, what you've been doing this year with the new venture, and I'm going to shut up now.
All right.
I'm going to let you take the microphone.
All right, we'll pass the baton. So it started, I guess, after our podcast with Daniel. Me and Daniel were both going to the same event in El Salvador called Solar Culture, which was a retreat for people that study quantum biology, basically. Whether you're a physician or a clinician or a muggle who doesn't do any of those things. I like that word, so, muggle.
Muggle,
Everybody was there. There's like 30 odd of us there. And so after the podcast, we decided we'd travel together. So we flew from here to Bogota in Colombia, and then from Bogota to El Salvador. It was a 22-hour trip in total. Then we spent 7 days in El Salvador, which is a stunning country. Like, the people the Salvadorans are incredible. And what Bukele, the president of the country, has done to get rid of all the crime and the gangs and lock them all up and make it basically an incredibly safe country to be. Wow. It's just incredible, absolutely incredible. So we had that beautiful experience and meeting all the like-minded people. Then we went from El Salvador to Austin. And same thing, just met up with people very similar to us. And some of the people that were on the trip also live in Austin. So we met up with them again when we were in in Austin. And Austin is just amazing. Like, everybody in Austin is fit, like healthy. Everybody's running, everybody's playing pickleball or paddleball. We went to this guy we know called Draco owns a place there called the Sapien Center, which has got an outside gym, which is great, which El Salvador had as well as an outside gym. And if you haven't trained outdoors, it makes a huge difference to the mitochondria. Like, the level of training you can do in those environments is insane. No delayed onset of muscle soreness, like none at all. But this place, Sapien Center, is a working place where you can go and work. They've got infrared sauna, cold plunging, all that stuff. But what's incredible is everything there. Like they've got grass-fed, grass-finished meat that you can buy, raw milk you can buy, raw cream that you can buy, like everything you can possibly think of. And Austin's very similar. You go to a place where you can go and grab some breakfast, grass-fed meat, mycotoxin-free coffees made with like raw milk, which they don't actually put on the menu, but it is raw milk. Where our place was anyway. Dude, it was just such an incredible experience. But while I was there, I was having this conversation with Daniel, and I said to him, like, one of the things that I loved about El Salvador was there were 30 people, and not one of us didn't vibe. Everybody's energy was incredible. But what was great is we all told stories to each other because we all had such varying backgrounds. There was such varying ages from early 20s up until like mid 60s. So everybody had their own experience. And I was like, I remember this quote. One of my ex-clients is a shaman, proven shaman. He's got like a 1,000-year lineage there and stuff. And he told me that when you go and see a shaman in these types of tribes, or the shaman does anything else, he asks you 4 questions. When was the last time you sang? When was the last time you danced? When was the last time you sat in your own stillness? And when was the last time you told a story? That was the key there. And I said to him, people just don't tell stories anymore. I was like, and this is what is missing in society, is the fact that we don't share stories, which means we don't educate others through our experience, and we don't learn from others' experience either. This is what would have happened back in the day. And this is what I remember with my grandparents, like we'd all sit around, there'd be like 20 of us all in a room, and my grandparents would just be telling stories. So I was like, right, I'm going to start a podcast about like this, which is basically bringing people on to tell their hero's health journey. So I'm stealing Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, but calling it a hero's health journey. And I now, obviously with the quantum biology, focus on decentralized health. So it's not about a Western medical system. It's about, which is centralized. It's about the decentralization of health, making people the CEO of their own health through telling stories. So I invite people on that tell their stories and all the rest of it, from practitioners and clinicians to everyday people. So that started. And while I was in Austin, I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was like, working with people with peptides and stuff like that, being a peptide therapist, I'm like, some people just can't afford this. And I was happy to mention the story about a young lady who, her son was just crucially ill. Like he had like 5 things going on with him. And she was like, I'm going to have to take out a loan just to pay for the peptides and supplements, because I can't pay for you, I can't pay for them, and I can't pay for the supplements and the testing. And I was like, this breaks my heart. And just over that time, I was like, health's becoming elitist. Like it's becoming very difficult for people that aren't mega wealthy to get their hands on these things. I was having this conversation with him, and he was like, right, he's like, I know somebody that can invest. He's like, what do you want to do? I was like, let's start a peptide company, let's start a red light company. These 2 things are very important. So we had our first business call while I was in Austin. My other company, the Signs Beat Ring, I brought one of my business partners from that in on it as well. And my other business partner brought the investor in. And we decided there and then in that December that we were going to launch it. And I was like, right, let's Peter Diamandis this, let's moonshot this. Let's say this takes a year, let's get it done in 6 months. And by May, we soft launched the company and did a private launch of both companies to see, testing the market and stuff. And, we're selling research grade, high purity peptides at a fraction of the cost of what they should be.
Affordable prices.
Exactly. Yeah. And the same with the red lights. The red lights that I chose specifically because they're an incredibly powerful device to use. The output of wattage is huge, but they come with pulsed frequencies, 10, 20, 40 hertz pulse frequencies. 99% of devices out there don't do. So why was that important? Well, because 10 and 20 hertz, this is alpha and beta brainwave, but it's also bone remodeling, osteoblast formation, like unions of fractures, downregulation of prostaglandins, downregulation of inflammation, collagen synthesis, all this beautiful stuff. 40 hertz is the regrowth of neurons. It stops neurodegeneration, which was important to me because my stepdad's got early signs of dementia. So I tested these panels out. I got one for myself. I got one for my dad, who's had 2 ischemic strokes and open heart surgery. And obviously we know the mitochondria are very dense in the heart and in the brain. And I gave one to him and I gave one to my stepdad, and they started using it. I started seeing results. They started seeing results. My mum started using it. She started seeing results. I was like, right, we need to sell these. These devices are supposed to be sold for like $4,200 and we're selling them for $1,200. We're putting purpose over profit. We're still making profit, but we're doing it in a different way. Because the whole point of this is I want red light devices and peptides and the other things that I'm going to be bringing out to be as easy to get hold of globally as it would be for you to go on Amazon and buy vitamin D. The whole point is to make them easily accessible to everybody, not stupidly. Peptides, you need guidance. You need somebody that knows what they're doing, or at least you need to be comfortable knowing what you're doing to start utilizing these things, because they're not like supplements where you can just take a vitamin D and everything's okay. I'm not saying there's a tremendous amount of side effects, because there aren't. It's just that certain ones need certain dosages, like the GLP-1s that we're seeing, like Ozempic is a peptide called semaglutide. The dosages that they're starting people at are way too high, and this is why they're getting all these side effects. So you start lower, but unless you know this, unless you read the literature, you wouldn't know, and doctors don't know. So they're just telling them what they've been told to tell them. So you need to have guidance with these things. But that's three things, Pep Podcast and those two companies that I've been doing in the last year. Peptide company is going incredibly well. It's called Rhythm Peptides, and the red light company is called Rhythm Red Light. We are going to be rebranding in December. That's going to be fully done. So we're going to be called Biorhythm. The website will be Biorhythm Labs, but the company will be called Biorhythm. The red light will still be called Rhythm Red Light, but the colors and the fonts and everything are going to change, because we want a more upmarket look of it, because it's not, at the moment it looks very clinical, which is fine, but it doesn't serve my purpose of what I want, what the long-term plan is. So right now you can go to rhythmpeptides.com. I'll sort out a Revitalize Your Life discount so that people can get that. I'll stick it in the show notes below. So you can get 10% off your order, and I'll do the same for the red light as well. And that's just rhythmredlight.com. So they're the two things that I've been, shameless plug.
Didn't we originally was we wanted not to be shamelessly other, but things that we're building already.
Exactly.
And you said, I would love to have a red light therapy. I would love to have a a peptide company and our supplement as well, which has, full disclosure, has sadly taken the back seat because of what we've been up to. But there's a reason why.
It's still coming though.
Yeah, but then again, we've had to prioritize different things. That's what we said.
But sorry to interject here, but if you think about this process, by starting the peptide company, I had to source them, because I haven't opened my own lab yet. So once I open my own lab, my own research lab, I can make the peptides. But at the moment, we're using a supplier. Now, this supplier can get all raw materials. So when we now have the time to start the supplement company, we won't have to find the materials ourselves. I can go straight to my supplier and say, right, these are the 3 things, 4 things, 5 things that we need. What's the SKU? How much is it going to cost? What's the minimum order quantity? And let's go. And he can do the labeling, he can do the bottling, everything.
Yeah. So and you had to go through that. Yeah, you had to go through that, and
so it helps us in the long run as well.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I agreed, and I still, not stupidly, but I since the beginning of the year, a year ago, I set myself a challenge of a personal goal.
Ping pong, let's go. Your turn, brother.
All right. Okay. So whilst Mark was doing this, guys, I was basically setting myself up to do my first ever natural bodybuilding competition.
He said that it's because of all the food he had to try for the wedding. He was like, I've got fat.
Yeah.
I now need to lose all this weight. I may as well do a comp.
That was it. So we set ourselves a year goal, because not many people know the work behind the scenes of what has to go into this, and because it was completely different than what I've done before. I've done photo shoots. We've both done photo shoots, and we Mark. It's a completely different level of the game that you have to put your body under, mentally, physically, emotionally, and everything else.
Yeah.
So I had the great help of great coach and a friend from a fellow Institute of Health, Nathan Bevan. Shout out to him. He's a great guy.
Legend.
And he helped me, because we have if you have a mentor, if you have a coach, you just fast track your knowledge. There's no shadow of a doubt of that. You can only go so far on your own. So I employed my friend to support me through this journey, to get me to the other side, to guide me and to get me through different phases. So we basically set ourselves a goal, and when the shows became available in the new year, we set our minds on it, and we achieved it. But what I didn't anticipate was just how hard and taxing it was, physically and mentally, because I dedicated a good 6 months of my life to it, whilst running a coaching business and everything in between, whilst planning a wedding. So yes, those say like timing, you could have timed it better, Joe, but actually there is no perfect time.
No, I actually think it was perfect timing, because it shows that, right, anything is possible when everything is easy, right? Like, you can do anything when it's easy. When it's hard, this is when you need to show up and do it, because then when it gets less hard, it's automatic and it doesn't take any effort. So I think the fact that you had all of those other things going on and you had that's the reason why it was so successful, because you had to find something within you to keep pushing. You had a regime which you had to follow, which is why having someone like Nathan was so important. If you'd just done this on your own and had all of that other stuff going on, you probably would have balled it off and gone, nah, I ain't doing this.
Of course. 100%.
But I think it's perfect timing, because it shows how much inner strength you have to be able to do this.
Yeah.
Because, I don't want to steal your story.
So no.
I was just going to say, for people that are listening and watching, doing a diet to lose body fat and doing a bodybuilding comp diet, two completely separate things. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. They're both equally as difficult, but this one is incredibly tough on the body because of the things you cannot do. And it's not a case of, oh, I accidentally ate a bag of donuts. No, you can't do that, because now that's extended the length of time you're going to have to diet, because you've got a comp on a certain day. So you have to be a certain weight, a certain dryness, a certain leanness. Then you've got the pre-loading going into the comp so that you get fuller, and you've got to get the tan. You've got everything's got to be symmetrical, and everything's got to be on point. And then you've got the posing. Totally different. Yeah. And I can only attest that because I've done it twice, and I got down to like 5.2% body fat, and I was watching food shows on TV like it was porn.
Yeah, we joked about that, didn't we? We when I had the sort of the run up to the first show between the second, but I didn't anticipate. So I ended up losing, and you had to pull off a lot more body fat than you think for these shows. And
what did you get down to?
Oh, it was sub 5% body fat, which is not sustainable, guys.
It's not comfortable either.
No, it wasn't. Like, and I'll go into sort of like the things that I experienced, and we're actually in the process of shooting a video for that now that I've had bloods taken throughout this process, because going back to the original plan of why we do these extreme things was, I wanted to do it. I've always wanted to do it, but never done it. Never felt, it was the right time. Never felt confident. Oh, I need to be a little bit bigger. I need to be this. I need to be that. I thought, you know what? I'm just going to do it, and I want to just see what happens. I'm going to commit my all into it, and I did. I managed to lose 16.5 kilos, which it just amazes me where it goes. But I looked like absolutely peeled, but also very gaunt. Like a lot of people who don't get it were very concerned with the way that I look and the way that I perform, because I did suffer towards the end when you go through different phases, especially reduction of calories and the increase of training and steps and cardio work, all the stuff that you don't play all your cards at once. You have this sort of timeline that you set yourself. So we had a good 16, maybe 18 weeks, no, 20 weeks of getting this right. Yeah. Back, we should have actually started at the beginning of January rather than sort of like end of Jan, but that you live and you learn, but I threw myself into it, and it was tough, training 4 times a week, running a business. But then on top of that, we were doing sort of 2 1-hour cardio sessions and 14,000 bloody steps a day to get to that end goal. And we still weren't lean enough. Like looking at the guys competing in my class, in my category of these natural men's physique show, I wasn't that lean enough, despite being that sub level of body fat. But Mark was right. Like the tannin that goes into it. Like I try to do it as functionally and holistically as possible. I remember using Niall's product. I used our goat product as well throughout this, and try to sneak in organ meats whilst we're sort of, I was started off on 600 calories, and then towards the run up to the show I was on 1,600 a day. That's just put it on context. It's like, that is hardly nothing. It's like
No.
you could eat 1,000,
That's breakfast for most people, I think.
But for people who just want to get healthy and lose body fat, you don't need to do that. Bodybuilding goal is like the next level in extreme, and because it was done naturally, I think I did suffer. You can see why people who bodybuild are enhanced basically. And the sad thing that I will come out with is and not because I'm a sore loser, because I don't really care about a plastic trophy. For me, it was just like, I want to get to the other end and prove myself I've done it. It's me versus me. I'm not here to compete. Yeah, you are competing against other guys and you've got your own posing routine, which was amazing. I wasn't interested in that. That's not why I did it. I don't want to be a pro. I don't want to be, a championship bodybuilder, because you won't have a life, No. And I will say, and I will be honest with people, I got quite disheartened towards the end because of actually how restrictive this lifestyle is. But those who compete will know what they're getting into. I want to highlight as well, hormonally, I'm still recovering from it, So this is why I've waited for this podcast, because I did my we do our blood work quite regularly, Mark, don't we? For that reason of just looking at your markers, looking at the trends of what your blood is telling you. But 6 weeks out from the first show, you're starting to see like sex drive is non-existent. I had a very weird skin flare as well because of the disruption of the gut skin axis, like the epidermal layers. So we ended up pinpointing it. I did a lot of research, but it was folliculitis. So it's like it was basically because I shaved, and because the hair follicle and the shape of the skin, guys, this is what absolutely batshit, becomes a bit more paper thin. So it sits on the muscles, but obviously the skin barrier changes because you're nutrient deficient. You've got less dietary fat in the body, so it throws off the whole skin barrier. So you are more prone to, gut health issues, more issues to skin issues as well when you go for these vigorous diets, especially bodybuilding. So, not only was I having to supplement heavy, but also be really mindful of the type of products I was putting on my skin. So shout out to Andy and his company, because that's what I had to put on, something completely different, which is derived from actually sheep's wool. It's a sort of like a substance. It'll come to me like halfway through this podcast.
So good.
But it's in a certain brand, which helped me moisturize the skin. So through trial and error, I helped heal that whilst bloody pulling body fat off me for a show. I was having this massive skin flare up as well. So there was a lot of stress, and there was like no sex drive whatsoever. So you can imagine how that was affecting relationship, how it was affecting mood, motivation to train.
You were basically married before then. Before you were married, you were married already. A sexless life now, right?
Yeah.
I'm joking to all those who are married. Just saying that, I'm just joking.
But hormonally, I could see, on the blood test, lab results, like testosterone down, thyroid through the roof, nutrient deficiencies, the lot. And even 12 weeks post second show, so after the 2 shows after June, I was I'm still not optimally where I was a year ago. So, but that's given me the raw data now, because I've had like a good 12 weeks, Mark, of not taking any supplement whatsoever, apart from our goat stuff and a few beef organs, like not even creatine, not even vitamin D. I've just rotated in, that's a lie, some magnesium again, but I want to give myself a clean slate so I can then have the tools and the insights to go, right, now this is what I need to rebuild my body, rather than just like chucking shit at a wall and seeing what sticks. Yeah. But that was a really interesting thing about doing it. And the sad reality of your goal isn't over just yet, because this is the dangerous place. If you've done 2 shows, whoopee, what does everyone do, Mark? They balloon, they binge eat, and it can drive up, serious like issues with body dysmorphia and bulimia, and you can see all these food disorders start happening from these shows. Because you have to know what you're getting into. You can't just go in and chuck yourself in it without knowing the sort of the risks that you're taking. And I know full well, but didn't know it until you're in it. So I had to take another 12 weeks at the end of June to sort of slowly reverse my diet to rebuild leptin, ghrelin, metabolic health and hormonal health slowly. All right. So I had birthdays in July. We had, more wedding stuff that came up, and, meals out and events. And you're just having to be really mindful and not going like, yes, please, because you're so sensitive. Your insulin, so sensitive. You can put on body fat like 3 times at a faster rate from doing that prolonged lengths of dieting, guys.
Yep.
So
and that's what normally happens.
You have to be really careful. This is why you need a coach that is so prepped people before, or has a good knowledge in this, because this is so important that people miss and wonder why they continually get in and out of shape, and this is why actually I will possibly never compete again, because I've done it and I know it's just not healthy. But each their own. I don't mean to offend anyone when I say this, but it's not for me, and he's just saying that because he lost. Like I didn't lose anything. I competed. It was me versus me. But it's just not what I believe in. Like, I wanted to give it a go, and it's just not healthy. It's not a healthy way to get in shape. No. If you want to compete and bodybuild because you love the sport, brilliant. I did it because I loved the training and I wanted to see what would happen. And, I've been there and done it. There's a lot of people who haven't put themselves through it. So there you go. Take it as you will. But yeah, very interesting 6 months from the start of the year to lose 16 kilos of body fat. And the lightest I've ever been, like 63 kilos or something. Wow. So we're now at a healthy weight. Yeah, my stage weight, was 66 in the end, because you cut down and then you refill. I'll be doing that again.
Good experience though, brother. It's a good experience.
Yeah, it was a lot. What experience, the posing, learning how to pose, that was fun. All that stuff was, there's positives and negatives to everything. You have to be like, from an unbiased lens, poised, balanced in the middle. Yeah. And that's what I can take away from it.
Mate, listen, all hats off to you, bro. Like, as I said, I've done the preps and I've done the reversing out, but I've never actually stood on stage. I did it because I basically did it with 2 of my clients. 2 of my clients wanted to compete, so I was like, right, I'll cut down with you. It helped them mentally, and again, it was like a challenge. I was like, cool, let's see if we can do this. And it is difficult, and I personally think the reversing out is harder than the cutting down, personally. And the reason why the reverse out, I just want to add this for people, is so important is because your metabolic rate shifts, number one. And that way then your NEAT, your total energy expenditure, all that stuff drops. So as Joey says, that increases the amount of percentage chance of fat gain, which is ridiculous, like 3 times as quick. But the reason why that's important is because you have an extracellular matrix, an ECM, around the fat cells. And when you diet down slowly, it gives it time to contract and shrink. And I'm that's what I'm looking for here. I'm making this very as basic as possible. If you then rebound out and you don't slowly go back up, the ECM doesn't have chance to flex out and it gets stiff. Now, the reason why that's important is because if you then try to diet again, it makes the diet harder because of the stiffness, the inflexibility of that ECM. So if you can diet down slowly and then reverse out slowly, not only do you keep your body fat at a decent level, you also get to refill, but you keep the integrity of the extracellular matrix, which means if you then decide you want to cut again, going into a comp or whatever the case may be, it's not more difficult. Every time you drop and rebound out and drop and rebound out, like most crash dieting does, every time you have to go back into that deficit again, it makes the fat loss incredibly hard, to the point where it stops happening to a degree. It slows down like massively, where you'll have that stubborn area, like everywhere else on you will be lean, but you'll have that little pouch or you'll have that bit on your hips, and it just does not want to shift. No matter what you do, you're now literally eating bird feed and you're doing 20,000 steps a day and you're doing fasted cardio at 5 a.m. It won't shift because that extracellular matrix is going, you screwed me. You screwed me. Like I can't do any more. This is as much as we can do.
No.
the reason why I'm saying this is for anybody that's listening, if you are going to be dieting, don't yo-yo. Like, just slowly come down and slowly go back out again. Like, if it takes 20 weeks to go in, it's theoretically going to take you 20 weeks to come out. So you're going to have to find that balance point between the two. Otherwise, what's going to happen is your calorie intake is going to go up here and your metabolism is going to stay down here, and you're going to get a massive amount of fat gain, probably more than what you had before you dieted in the first place. And now the ECM is tighter and less willing to flex with you, and it's going to make it harder. That's the reasoning.
It's wild. It was wild. And even like my blink rate slowed down. I didn't yawn, didn't fidget. That was the most craziest thing.
Yeah, your knee dropped.
Yeah, you just you don't yawn. Your eyes don't, sort of, your blink rate is slower.
That's because your eyes are shut half the time because you're tired.
That was really hard. Like, forcing yourself to do like lower body on 1,600 calories a day. That was an interesting one. You know,
it builds mental fortitude, man.
Oh, of course it does. Yeah, hard times build hard people, without a shadow of doubt. But I learned a lot from it, and I'm the word that we should all look for, you know, is grateful for it. Grateful for it, you know, because you know, it opened my eyes to a lot of the process, and actually putting my shoes back in where a client may be on this journey who, you know, wants to lose body fat and get in shape, you know, because there should be periods out your year where you chase different things like the seasons, and there's times where you do need to sort of trim a bit of fat. And I think the powerful thing that we're trying to teach really is the power of mastering maintenance, like, you know, homeostasis, like it's nice equilibrium in the body where you are a nice lower level of body fat, good level of muscle mass, but, you know, your health metrics, like your rest and heart rate variability is good, your sleep is good, your sex drive is for the roof, you can recover easy in your sessions, those sort of things. So yeah, really, really, really important, you know. So, but yeah, what a experience it was.
You've had a hell of a year, dude.
Yeah, and we're still not done yet. We've still got sorry, Mark, I've got someone banging at the door.
Quite all right, dude. Go ahead.
One sec.
I don't know if I can pause this.
Chloe's got it. Yeah, we'll pause it.
Cool.
I'll edit that bit out.
That's right.
I purposefully undid the doorbell. Bloody Amazon, man.
Don't say that. He's bringing you goods.
What have we got, Chloe? Goodies.
Herb's got a new LED collar.
LED collars. Brilliant. There we go. Right.
And we're back.
Apologies, guys. So, yeah. No, we have had a hell of a year, the pair of us. And
it isn't over yet.
No, it isn't over. No, it isn't over. No, it's been a great year. Very grateful, and hearing the journey you've been through, health wise in the year, because I know you had a coach. I don't know if you're still having coaching.
Not anymore. Mark. Well, I have my biomechanics coach, but my other coach I don't have anymore. No.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
No, it's quite. Listen, we just got to that point where I just wasn't learning anything anymore. So I was like, you know, no hard feelings. It's no problem, you know. So I will. Exactly. I will be picking up another coach at some point. I'll probably be doing that either December or January. But for now, I've learned what I needed to learn from him, which is good. And most importantly, learned what not to do, which was actually quite critical, you know, because that was one of the reasons why we actually also stopped working, was the fact that there were some things that he told me to do which did not favour me in any way, shape or form. So yeah, dude, like, I've still got my biomechanics coach. I'm seeing him for the first time Friday in a while, because, as you know, in August, end of July, beginning of August. Okay, so biggest I've been in a long time. I was like 78 kilos. I was about 12% body fat, just maybe slightly under, and I was in the best condition I've ever been in, like hella strong, like ridiculous. And I was on the bench at the gym doing a dumbbell pullover. So for those who are listening, you won't see this demonstration, so I'll talk through it. So I'm laying flat, my body's facing up towards the ceiling, and I've got a dumbbell held in between my palms, hovering over my chest vertically. So one of the head of the dumbbells is in line with my chest, another one is on my arms, on my hands. And then you bring it back behind your head in an arc, and that works the lats and a bit of the triceps. Now, I had a 30-year-old fracture in my olecranon, which is your elbow bone itself. And I broke that, well, fractured that when I was 13. That's just more than 30 years, 31 years. I broke that when I was 13, arm wrestling. I beat the guy and he whipped my arm back in the opposite direction when I relaxed, and it cracked my elbow. I didn't get it fixed, but I thought it had healed. I assumed it had healed. But what it actually was what's classed as a non-union. The only thing that was holding it together was fibrous tissue, scar tissue. Bone had never formed. I didn't know this until after the accident, which I'm about to explain. So as I've brought the dumbbell back behind my head, bear in mind this was a 40-kilo dumbbell pullover. So this is an incredibly heavy dumbbell pullover, which just goes to show how much strength I'd gained.
Yeah.
And as I brought it back past my head on the 8th rep, my elbow, that olecranon part, which was being held on by fibrous tissue, just snapped. And so my arm just whipped. Yeah, my arm whipped back. I lost all ability to kind of control my lower arm. Very, again, grateful. Universe, God, great spirit, whatever word you want to use, was looking after me that day, because if that had happened half a second sooner, that 40 kilo would have crushed my skull, and I wouldn't be here. So, I wouldn't be having this amazing conversation with you. So I'm very grateful for that. I just literally, I dropped the dumbbell, obviously stood up, felt my elbow, the bone so I can show you my other arm. So that bone had basically broken in half. This bit was up here, that bit was down there, and this bit's attached to the tendon of the tricep. So it shot up. So I pulled it back down, locked it into place. Luckily, my TT is automatic, so I was able to drive home. Calling my dad on the way, being like, "Dad, I need you to drive me to the hospital. I've broken my elbow." Went to the hospital. Saw one of the guys there. Watford General, great hospital. Saw the guy there. He was like, "No, you've not broken it." I was like, "Dude," I know what a break sounds like. I've had 7 surgeries so far. I know exactly what a break sounds like. This is a broken elbow. I was like, "Would you like to bet your career on this?" And he was like, "Yes." I was like, "Awesome." So I went and had the x-ray, and the guy came around. He went, "Did I hear right that he said you hadn't broken your elbow?" I was like, "Yeah." He went, "Yeah, no, you've fully broken your elbow." Like the gap was like that. I was like, "Okay, it's fully broken." So when I went back to see that guy, he was like, "Oh my God, it is broken." I was like, "Told you, bro." I was like, "Time to hang up your scrubs, because you clearly don't know what you're doing."
You bet.
Exactly, right? So it was so severe the way, and so irregular, because that bone won't break in half. There's no way that bone will break in half. So it's an irregular, well, it would do if you shattered it, so to speak. So they rushed me into surgery. I went private in the end, found the leading elbow specialist in Harley Street, went to see him. He rushed me into surgery a week later. So that happened, sorry, 6 days later. That happened on the Saturday. By the Friday, I was having surgery. So they had to abrase, and you can see here, like, I've got a little scar that still runs through there. But again, peptides, GHKCU and red light, because GHKCU is a infrared activated peptide for skin. They put a tension wire through the ulna. So they had to basically take my muscles off my bone, put a tension wire underneath, put the muscles back on. They then had to abrase the olecranon. So basically, because there was no break, there was no bleeding, there was no adhesions, nothing. So they had to burn my olecranon to make it bleed. Then they made 2 different variations of synthetic bone graft. One with actual calcified bone, and one which was synthetic, because I said, "You are not taking this from me," because it comes from the iliacus, the hip, the crest of the hip. I was like, "You are not getting it from me." So they then padded the bone with that. So they closed it down, they put the bone graft in between. Then they've done a figure 8 of steel wire running through there. And then they've put another tension wire directly through my triceps tendon. So in line with the fibers, so not across them, but down, they put wires through and then stitched it back up. And this creates a compression unit. So every time I bring my arm towards me, it pulls the bones together. And obviously every time I straighten my arm, because it's tensing the tricep and pulling the tendon, it actually pulls them apart. So I'm not allowed to do any loaded tricep work at all. So since end of July, bearing in mind for 6 months, my main focus was my arms. I trained my arms every day to get them bigger. I haven't trained my triceps since then, which is annoying, because unfortunately after injuries you get atrophy, right? It happens. Like the muscle gets trauma and it starts to degrade. Shrink, I'm going to say. So this is now that was the first week of August, September, October, November. So this is three months tomorrow. This got done.
Yeah.
And after 2 weeks, I had that ability. After 2 weeks, I had that. And he was like...
And tell everyone, Mark, just for those that don't know, like, what would the usual healing time to be able to extend your elbow joint?
Okay, so to get full extension, and I'm still missing about 5 degrees, but to get full extension, a massive reduction in inflammation, and the ability to bend and flex and rotate, 6 weeks, maybe 7, 8 weeks, something like that. And I had it in 2.
Yeah.
So as I've walked in, he's gone.
I don't mean to pull out your age, but tell everyone how old you are.
Okay, so I'm 44. Yeah.
Which I still don't believe, guys. I feel when I saw Mark, I thought he was younger.
I'm 44. I'm like a tree. If you saw the rings on the inside, you'd see.
This is what I'm saying. Is everyone just thinks this is it? This is me. This is my age. This is my body. But if you give your body the fucking tools that it needs, man, you can heal shit like this.
We find a way. We
proof is in the pudding, man.
100%. And this is why everybody was like, you have not expressed any negativity about this injury. Like, bear in mind, 8 surgeries, right? So shoulder reconstruction, 4 surgeries on my knee, 2 on this elbow, right? So this is my 8th surgery. And obviously there was the autoimmune in 2020 where 2022 when they wanted to cut out my colon, healed that. You know, they wanted to put a metal rod in my spine when I was 24, healed that. Like, this is why I guess a lot of people call me the way maker, because we either find a way or we make a way, right? Like, that's just the way that's the way it happens, right? And I was not prepared, one, to keep these wires in. I'm not keeping them because they're uncomfortable. Like, I can feel them. And if I lean on my elbow, I can feel the wire. It's not the bone that's hurting. It's not the tricep tendon that's hurting. It is the wire that is hurting because it's not supposed to be there. So once the bone is fully fused, I can then have the wires again, which is another surgery, yes, and less anesthetic and all that stuff, which I can get rid of out of my body anyway. But it just removes the wires, which brings me back to my full ability to use my arm. Again, I can train up a body. I can do all those things, but I can't press. Can't do push-ups. Can't do anything which loads that tricep tendon and makes my tricep tense, because in a straight arm, I can do it in a bent arm, but I can't do it in a straight arm because it will just pull. The right peptides and the right dosages at the right timings are why this happened. So I knew, obviously, once it happened, what I needed to do. So I was intramuscularly injecting peptides every single night into my shoulder. Then on the morning of the surgery, I did it again. The evening of the surgery, I did it again. And then I did it every other night for another 3 weeks after that, and then massively reduced the dose down and started doing it subcutaneously, not into the delt anymore.
Wow.
Plus applying, believe it or not, non-staining methylene blue and GHK, all made in a tallow that I make, on my arm, and then sitting with my red light device, pulsing 10 hertz pulse, 20 hertz pulse through here. I've got another device somewhere, don't know where I've put it, but it's a scalar wave device, which has got a band which allows me to put rife frequencies and scalar wave frequencies through the device and into my body. So I can put the Schumann resonance in there. I can put direct 10 hertz through into it. And that increases the osteoblast formation and the union formation. And I've been going into London to a company called Human Regenerator that have a device which uses cold atmospheric plasma that basically creates electrons out of the air and pulls them into the body. And as they travel through the body grabs what it needs and lets everything else go. So I've been using that as well, which has been helping the body heal. So there are some extra things that I've been doing, but that's just been very recently. Peptides were what pushed it, and the red light were the things that pushed it the way that I needed to do and get it into this point. As I say, like, the surgeon was just blown away, and he was like, "You got to tell me what you did." So I was like, "Right, dude, sit down, grab a pen."
You ready?
You ready?
Oh, yeah.
You know?
And it's also, it's very unique because everyone's going to ask, like, Mark, what do you do? What are you taking? What are you doing? What's your stack? I remember I had it from my whole bodybuilding prep, like, what are you taking? What are you doing? And I was like, well, there's a lot of things that I can't take because it's actually banned on the WADA list at the minute. But, like, it's working for me. You have to understand the mechanisms behind what's going on and then apply that through a bit like trial and error, like you said earlier. Unfortunately, with the coach that you had didn't work out. You got what you needed to, and that's important to realize that not every coach, like even some stuff that we do, guys, may work tremendously well. We've got thousands of stories and success stories of clients, but there are also clients that didn't go on so well, and that's okay. It's all part of the journey. Yeah. So
agreed. And not everything works for everybody. This is the thing. I did an interview when I was at the Health Optimization Summit for Ben Greenfield's Life Network about all of this stuff, and I said to him, going through the autoimmunity allows me to then, through experience, work with people with autoimmunities, but that doesn't mean I give them the exact same thing that I do for me.
No,
because we are all very, very different. Yes, I could give some people the exact same protocol that I did, and it worked, which it did. But then if I do that with somebody else, it could not work at all. And that's not because there's anything wrong with them or anything wrong with the peptides. It's because we're different. So we have to try a different approach. The same way that, the way that you train at the gym works for you. Yeah. If you gave that same training split to, I don't know, 54-year-old woman, probably not the correct training program for her. So we all have to make sure that we, one, fully understand ourselves. This, people say, like, what's the purpose of life? I think it's to fully understand yourself, like truly understand yourself. Like, what are your whys? What are your joys? What are the things that make you feel alive? Like, how does your body work? How does your body function? How do you think? Understand yourself, because the more you can understand yourself, the more sovereignty you have over yourself. Because this whole body, this whole thing is a gift. We are God, the universe experiencing itself. So it's a one-time chance, because we don't remember if we do come back or not. So spend that time knowing you and living the best life you can possibly live. It's not about being more than you are. It's about becoming all that you are. As Carl Jung said, the greatest gift you can give yourself is to become who you truly are. Like, integrate all of that in. Learn your mistakes. Because if you're not failing, you're not trying. That's the whole point. Failure is where you're going to learn. That's the most important thing. I like that. I like the failure because it makes me understand things better. It makes me become better. And once I am better, I can do better. That's the whole point of all of these things. Same with you, like with your body bodybuilding competition experience. If you have somebody come to you that wants to prep, you know what to do. You now know how to help them.
I would push him to someone else. But it's amazing, like going back, we said, like failure is feedback, and our bodies, I think we need to give them more credit. Even I've noticed this with we're just talking before the podcast with like the dental journey that I've been on, and we all want to look better, perform better, live better, and certainly for me it's the same with like the dental journey that I've been on, and knowing yourself and knowing what works. And that was quite the interesting bit about the dentist that has helped me through my dental journey. She was amazed, like, the whole removal of so basically, in a nutshell, guys, just so I'm on the right wavelength, I wanted to sort of just address my dental health. Like, your dental health, your oral microbiome is like the first entry point to your whole digestive tract and everything. And like, believe it or not, like, teeth, like fillings, dead teeth, root canals, are linked to various organs in the body via the meridian lines. And unfortunately, I'd let my dental regime slip a little bit. Like, I had, like a teenager, had braces and had perfectly straight teeth. Then a classic story of not wearing your retainer, and all your teeth would like move over time. So it's something that I always wanted to address. So went and did it. But realized that I had to jump through a few hoops in order to get where I am now, which is like the correction of teeth and using, smile line and getting straight teeth and whatnot. I had to go through, a bit of discomfort and remove like heavy metal, and have like, whilst going for this bodybuilding prep, arguably at the beginning of the year, doing it the right way. And there's so many people who don't do it the right way. They just, remove something without the repercussions. And this is why we are a bit different in our approach, and why I sourced a biological, and we should really get if we can, a biological.
We'll see if we can get Seb. If we can't get Seb, we might be able to get Dom. I'll speak to Dom, see if he can come on.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even my biological dentist, she'd be
Oh,
up for it.
yours? Yeah.
But yeah, completely blessed. And you know, things take time. Healing takes time. Like, you know, I started my dental journey like a year ago, and you know, I've still got a few trays to go to align the top ones. But you had to get the foundations of health right first. So that wouldn't have been able to occur if I didn't have a good like bone density, good gums, good gum health. And you know, I know so many dentists. You know, so many people rush off to Turkey and get like, you know,
Oh,
turkey
turkey
teeth. And
teeth.
he had a
Yeah.
horror story. He tells
Yeah.
me of like people coming to her with rotten teeth, like
Yeah.
vampire like fangs, because they've filed down the teeth and because they've had, you know, dis-ease within the microbiome first. It's just like completely gone the opposite way because you're putting an
Wow.
unnatural thing in a natural body.
Mm.
Look after what you've got, you know, nourish what you've got, look after it, and it will flourish, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And I am, you know, a testament to that. I thought, oh, I'll get rid of the metal, and good bloody job I did because the tooth was actually starting to like actually decompose in the back tooth. So guys listening to this, if you got silver fillings or amalgamine filling like I did, I fortunately only had one. Get that shit sorted, you know, get that shit sorted because it will cause a lot of problems neurologically for
Yep.
you, gut health wise, you know, even if you want to get in shape, you know, I know it sounds batshit like, well, really, like my teeth would affect the ability to lose fat and get in shape. Yes, it bloody will,
Well, release
because
toxins into the body.
you are leasing, pathogenic bacteria through your mouth. So you need to support your microbiome, your
Mm.
oral, your dental regime with the right things,
Yep.
with red light therapy, with, you know, hydroxyapatite toothpaste and copper tongue scraping and, you know, cleansing the mouth with coconut oil, all that weird batshit things that you see, you know, people do. That stuff is very important,
Yep.
you know. So yeah, it just goes to show, doesn't it? Like you know, giving the body the tools that it needs to thrive, and it will. Like with yourself, Mark, with the elbow, and me with
Yep.
the whole teeth, you know, dental
We just need to get
regime.
out of the way. That's the bottom line. We just need to get out of the
Yeah,
way. The body knows what
yeah.
it's doing.
Oh,
Just get out of the way. And there's something that I want to add to this because it's quite important because you mentioned how long it's taken with your teeth for this point. The one thing I've noticed a lot, particularly since launching the peptide company, when I do consults with people before I work with them as a client, what peptides can I take for this? What peptides can I take for that? What peptides can I take for this and that and this and that and this and that? Cool, okay. I get where you're coming from. Like you want this result yesterday. I get it. But we have to remember that everything that you are right now is because of all the things that you've done, which means everything you're going to be is going to come from all the things that you're going to do. I cannot give you a limitless pill. It just doesn't exist. You know, I hear this
mm,
from people that have had really bad experiences with the GLP-1s where they're like, oh yeah, the doctor just said take this and I can eat what I want and lose weight. No, you
no,
can't, because you can't outwork a bad diet. You can't outwork all these things. You can't complain about the results you don't get from the work you don't do. The point that I'm
yeah,
trying to make here is there is a cost to everything that you're going to do. It is either going to
mm,
be a monetary cost
mm,
or it's going to be a time and effort cost, which may also include money at the same time. But people will choose just the money cost because it's convenient. Thanks to Amazon, we can conveniently just buy something and it just turns up the next day and we can then take it.
mm.
So as I say to people that come to me like this, like you cannot take peptides and still live your shitty lifestyle and
No,
expect to get the result. It doesn't
no.
work like that. Get the
Amen.
foundations first. You know, anybody that comes to me that wants to be on a GLP-1, I'm like, right, let's get you tracking your food. Let's get you doing the steps. Let's get you going to the gym and being more active. Do this for a month. Then when you then start taking a GLP-1, the effects are going to be better because you've created a foundation and you've ingrained and started these amazing new healthy habits, which means that when you are then on this journey, one, you won't need as much of the peptide to do the work. You won't need to stay on it as long. You're also not going to rebound out of it when you stop taking it and dive into a bag of donuts and then roll around on a pizza. Like it's not going to be something that you're going to choose to do because you've created this lasting thing because you've put in the effort. When you
Mm,
pay for something, you don't value it after a while. But if you do something with effort,
mm,
time, and also a cost involved, you will value that. You know, it's a bit like, you know, you did your comp and got down to a certain amount of body fat. You valued that effort that you put in. You didn't pay for it just to be lipoed off your body or what have you. You put in the work, which means when you were coming out of it, you were like, I'm going to have to put in the same level of work here because I value the effort I've put in. I'm not going to undo it by doing it wrong. You are going to have to choose a cost. You're going to have to choose a hard at some point, and you're either going to choose the easy life now, hard life later, convenient, I'm just going to pay for it option, or you're going to choose hard life now, easy life later, it's going to cost me time and energy and effort. Yeah. Always go to this side, because this is where you're going to learn. This is where you're going to shape you. This is where you are going to change your life. This is where you are going to start acting. And this is a new thing that came to me about this act as if. You are going to be acting as if you are already that person that you are dreaming to become, rather than trying to pay your way to do that. So if you want to be fitter, stronger, healthier, faster, live longer, act as if that person is already you.
Already doing it. Yeah.
You're already doing it. You are already that entrepreneur. You're already that 10% body fat person. You're already that muscular person. You're already running your own business. Whatever the case may be, act as if and do that thing. Put in the effort, because the magic you're seeking is in the work that you're not doing, to quote Chris Williamson. So don't go for convenience. Go for the effort it's going to take, because that's where the real results are.
And also a bit like you said there, I think already like live like you are already achieved that goal.
Yeah, act as if.
A bit like reality surfing, like you've already achieved that dream body, that dream relationship, that you know, $1 million in your bank. Like act like you've already achieved it. And I know it can sound a bit off when I say that, but
it works.
But everything that we've possibly achieved in health and fitness and business, we didn't sort of go, I wish I could get to, I wish I had that. No, we're sort of like already doing things in motion that were living it. And then when you kind of like look back at it and achieved it, it's like, oh, I'm already doing that. It's like, what?
The energetic vibration from a quantum perspective is actually real. You cannot disprove that. And I don't mean like the secret and all of that stuff and the manifestation, because you can manifest, but then you have to have the vision, because you have to be able to visualize it. You have to be able to see it. The reticular activating system in the brain needs the vision. It needs to see what it is that you are after, because it doesn't understand the difference between what it sees here and what it sees here. It's the same thing to the mind. But then emotionally, this is what separates a manifestation thought vision from a prayer, is the emotional state that you put to it, because that's where the vibration comes in, and that's what the universe functions on, frequency. Tesla said, if you want to understand the universe, understand frequency and vibration. So everything on that quantum level runs through frequency, vibration. So when you are acting as if, you are sending the vibration to the universe, God, whoever, saying, I am already this thing. And it says, oh, okay, cool, in the echo chamber, I will just echo back to you what you think you already are, what you know you already are. And I can give a really easy example so that you can understand this. Not you, Joe, but people that are listening. If you wake up and you go into your kitchen, you go to make your coffee, and the first thing you do is you turn around, you knock your coffee cup off the side, and it smashes all over the floor, and it's your favorite coffee cup, and you're like, fuck's sake. Then you go into the bathroom to start getting ready for work, and you've got no hot water. You're like, oh, fuck's sake. And then you get out of the bath and you stub your toe. You're like, fuck's sake. Then you get in your car and you go to work and you get stuck in traffic. And you're like, fuck. You walk into the kitchen, you turn around, drop your coffee cup, and it smashes on the floor, and you go, probably need a new mug anyway. Go into the bathroom, you've got cold water, no hot water. Okay, cool. I've got an invigorating cold shower now. Awesome. Because there are some people that don't get to have a shower because they haven't got running water. This is going to supercharge me, because I've heard Wim Hof says great things about cold. You get out and you stub your toe and you're like, oh, well, that's smart. Okay, I need to be more careful next time. You get in your car, you go, you've got traffic. You're like, okay, well, can't do much about it. You know, I can't get angry. Isn't going to make the cars move. I'm not Bruce Almighty. I can't just separate the vehicles and drive through. I'm just going to get there where I get there. What's the difference here? Well, one is making a negative out of everything, and one is understanding what's happening, and you're vibrating at the frequency of, okay, cool, this is it. I'm acting as if I'm meant to be in traffic because I am in traffic. And then when you get to work, you never know. Your boss might say, well, you know, I know you got stuck in traffic, blah, blah, blah. So I'm thinking of moving you to a more work from home scenario, which you'll still get the pay the same, but now you're just going to be traveling less. Oh, win. Thank you very much, boss. Where on the other flip side, because you were in that negative mindset, that negative energy, when you get to work, your boss might be like, you're late, you're fired, right? How you frame it will change the repetition of what happens later on, because you will change the way that you see the things. And that way, then the response you have is going to be different. So my point being, like, when you act as if, it's sending out that ripple of what you are, and you're going to get that back. That's how it works. That is the quantum side of things. You can't not do that. I'm not saying, like, if you think, well, I'm going to act like I'm a millionaire, so tomorrow I'm going to have £1 million. It doesn't work like that, because of the fact that you have to obviously do something. Something needs to happen for that money to come in. So it might be a case of, I don't know, you've started your new business, and 6 months, 10 months down the line, all of a sudden somebody wants to invest in your company, give you £1 million. Great. Okay, cool. I manifested that like 10 months ago. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you just don't, it's not going to happen like that. It's just act as if. So I went on a proper rant there. I haven't gone on a rant in a long time, but yeah.
No, but I think it's a powerful place to end that, because we've got plenty more of these episodes coming up. Yeah.
10-minute tinfoil hat will be back as well. We've got some doozies for that.
Yeah, we've got to, just so you guys are aware of what's to come. 10-minute tinfoil hat episodes. More guest speakers lined up. Just good to be back. It's good to be back, and we're going to get these more on a regular basis as well. So the aim is to, you're hearing this, a week from when we recorded this, but to have it regularly pumped out every single Friday. That's the goal. But thank you very much, Mark.
My pleasure, brother. Thank you.
It's great to connect again, and I'm excited for this next season, and hope you guys have enjoyed the first episode back of the Revitalize Your Life podcast. Is there anything else that you want to end on, Mark?
Yes, there is actually. And this is purely because obviously we're coming back, so we need to increase the reach of this. Please like the video. Please like the podcast. Please share this with people. You can do a thing now for smaller channels. YouTube have released a thing called a hype. I haven't used it myself because I just haven't. But apparently you can hype videos, which brings it more attention. So please, for our algorithm, please hype the video, leave comments, do all that beautiful stuff, because it helps us grow. It helps us reach more people like you who want to listen to these things. So please do all of those things. And if there's anybody that you want to hear from, put it in the comments. If there's anything you want us to talk about, stick it in the comments. Like, just let us know. This is a viewer and listener led podcast. So just let us know what you're interested in, and we'll help you out.
Amazing. Yep. I completely agree with that.
Awesome.
Lovely.
Cool.
Thank you, guys. Have a lovely rest of your day or evening. If you're watching this in the evening, or you're going into the weekend, enjoy your weekend. But thank you very much, guys. And bye, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Take care, guys. Stay blessed.